Hey there, and welcome back to Pete's Couch. Now, as many of you are aware, I am about to embark on the Marathon des Sables, which is something I've been concentrating really heavily on for the last year or more. As well as doing lots of training, I've been doing so much research on the amount of kit that I need to take, and I've been testing a lot of stuff. So, over the next couple of weeks before I depart, I thought I'd share some of those learnings with you, and where better place to start than the backpack I'm going to take, which I have decided on, the Ultimate Direction Fastpack 20. Now this is super heavy at the moment because it's fully weighted, which is what I've been training with, but I'm just going to empty it out and show you why I like it so much. So here it is in its naked form, and this is what I like most about it, is that it's so minimal. It's basically an expanded running vest. It weighs next to nothing, and this is kind of one of the big deciding factors for me, because obviously I'm trying to cut down as much weight as possible. 510 grams, okay? Now, a great thing to compare this to is the official WAR bag, which a lot of people will be using at MDS, and in contrast, it's got all kinds of stuff hanging off it, and most importantly, the weight of it, 900 grams. That's a pretty huge difference. So this is nearly half the weight of the WAR bag, which is an incredible saving, but I've also decided to make an even bigger saving on it. There's not much that you can cut off it. Like the WAR bag, you can get a bit of scissors to that and kind of trim off some weight, but here it's so minimal anyway. But certainly the most notable saving that you can make is in the back there's a bit of padding that you can remove, and they say that this can be used to sit on, or even to, use to cushion your hips when you're lying down. I found it pretty useless. I've actually, having removed this from the back, I've actually found the pack more comfortable with it out. So I'm ditching this. That brings the weight of the pack down to 500 grams, so I'll say 10 grams right there. So although this Fastpack is nearly half the weight of the WAR bag, it actually fits way more in it. And it's down as a 20-litre bag, but I think you could probably push that out quite a lot. That's partly because of the nature of this main compartment and how it seals. It's kind of like a dry bag. It has a Velcro fastening that then rolls and then clips in at the sides. Now, I've probably got about 20 litres in there now, but you could basically just not roll it down as much and fit in maybe another 5 litres into that main compartment. It's not only that, you've also got this back mesh here, which you can fit loads in. That really stretches out, and it's a firm mesh as well, so it's going to hold things firmly in place. I don't tend to put a massive amount in there because I like to keep my weight closer to my back, but it's actually really good for holding waterproofs or extra base layers that you might be using during the day. Just stuff that down there and it holds it in there lovely and secure. On top of those two main compartments, we've got these mesh pockets on the side, which also hold a lot of stuff, very stretchy and pretty secure. I'll generally use those side pockets for stuffing food and stuffing rubbish, because even though I've got terrible flexibility, I can reach into those pockets quite nicely. So coming onto the front, and we've got two really great water pouches here. It really surprises me how many Ultra bags don't seem to have big enough pouches built in for hard water bottles. And maybe it's because they want to offer flexibility so that people can attach them themselves, but I actually think this is a great weight saving thing to be able to build them into the bag that Ultimate Direction have done. So as you can see, two water bottles fit there really, really nicely. There's also the option on this right hand one, if you don't want to carry two water bottles, this zips back up again, and there's actually a really nice secure pocket that you could maybe put bars, you could put all kinds of stuff down in there. It's actually a really brilliant phone holder. You can put your phone down into there, zip it back up, and that's super secure. But I actually find that's one of the major downsides of this bag for me, is that I'm going to be running around with two bottles most of the time, and there's nowhere for me to put my phone. Now, I'm not expecting to be on the phone the whole time, but it'd be really good to have access to music and stuff like that if I do want to listen to music. Currently, there's nowhere else on the front of the bag for me to put it. There's this outside stretchy pocket just outside where the water bottle is, but actually getting your phone into it is pretty much a no-go. Really the best place for you to put your phone is there's a smaller zip pocket on the side of the bag. that it can go in nice and securely. There's also one of these clip leads to put your keys onto. Not that I've ever used one of these. But the annoying thing about it is that it's going to be too far away for you to reach when you've got your bag on. So coming back to the front, you've also got two smaller pouches below the water bottles. So if I just take these out so you can get a better look. So on the left-hand side, we've got a zip. And on the right hand side, we've got a Velcro strap. These are actually bigger than they look. Quite often I use them to dump keys and just have stuff that I want readily available. But they're actually stretched out to hold a couple of bars maybe, or something slightly more sizable. Unfortunately, just not that phone. But as you can see, I can fit 2 full Cliff Bars into each one of these pockets. Obviously, one of the most important things about the bag is how comfortable it is, and I get on really well with this. And I think that could partly be because of the nature of these shoulder straps. It's actually one bit of fabric runs straight from the base of the bag over the shoulders and down the front. You can see it completely wraps around, which makes it really, really comfortable all the way around. And especially now I've taken that back bit of padding out, it just molds into your body really, really nicely. So one thing that it's most commonly criticized for is that it has 2 chest straps, but no waist strap. And a lot of people will say that that creates a bit too much side-to-side bouncing when they're running. I could definitely see that point, but I don't really experience it too badly myself. And I think that's partly because I found a configuration that really works for me on the front here. I tend to pack a lot of the weight in the bag close to my body to avoid bouncing. And if I do experience any bouncing, I tend to try and adjust my running to be a little bit more glidey, which I guess I see as a win-win situation. I kind of want to be a little bit more glidey. So the chest straps themselves are actually really nicely adjustable. They're set into these sliders here, which you can move them up and down. So I find best for security for me is to have one right at the top and then slide the bottom one right down to the bottom. And that kind of clips me in nicely either side of the rib cage. By far my biggest issue with this bag has followed my decision to take poles to the MDS though. Now, handily enough, there's actually some really nice elastic straps on the back that hold them nicely in place. You can put them down here. There's a clippable elastic bungee that you can wrap them around and have them nice and secure on the back of the pack like that. But I know having poles on the back of the bag, I will never use them. So really, I need to have them on the front straps. But unfortunately on the front straps, there's nothing there that's made to hold the poles. So I've had to try and bodge something to make it work for me. Now, unfortunately, I haven't made life easy for myself, and I've got poles that fold into 4 sections, which means that both the handle and the point are at the bottom, which means that when it's going down this way, there's nothing really to hold onto the top of the pole. So my first idea was to put a hook that I tied onto one of these things here, and I hooked this string on the top, and then I tied it to the side. That worked. It was actually quite comfortable, but it was just so fiddly unhooking this and hooking it back on again that, again, I probably was never going to use my poles because it was too fiddly. So then I tried other things. I tried to fasten them onto the front, which was a terrible idea. Don't try that. It was awful. And I also tried to fasten it down here somewhere, which again didn't work. So my final winning solution simply uses 2 pieces of elastic, one of which just ties straight around the strap and around the water bottle here, and one which fixes onto the bottom buckle here. And that one has a sliding clip on it. So what we do is we take the end of the poles, we put it through the bottom bit of elastic, we tie that tight, then put the end over the spike, which then holds that in position and stops it falling down. Then the tops, you just feed through that top bit of elastic, which holds it nice and securely in place. So that's nicely out of the way. And more importantly, it's a really light solution, and I know it's going to be simple enough for me to deploy and actually use the poles when I need to use them. So that is the ultimate Direction Fastpack 20. It's a massive winner for me. Really recommend it if you are doing a multi-day ultra, or if you just do a lot of running with gear. So check it out.